Hello and welcome to my video series on hacking network protocols. So today we are going to focus our attention on TFTP. TFTP allows you to upload and download files from a file server. So in my topology, I have Ubuntu server over here, which is acting as my file server, and I also have my router 1, which I'm going to back up its configuration to the file server. I also have a Docker guest. For comfortability, I wouldn't want to operate within my Ubuntu server, so I'll SSH into the Ubuntu server from the Docker guest, which is a Linux machine. And I also have my Kali Linux machine, in which other sense we can monitor the traffic of the TFTP being sent from router 1 to the Ubuntu server. But in this case, I've had a problem with this switch trying to configure port span. So port span or port mirroring will allow us to copy traffic from a source port to a destination port to a port which is not allowed to see a particular traffic happening between ports, right? So without wasting much time, I'm going to open the console for my Docker guest. So this is my Linux machine, and I'm going to SSH into my Ubuntu server. So I will enter my password, and as you can see, I'm in my Ubuntu server, and that's the information over there. So who am I? Shows me that I'm Storm. That's the user on the Ubuntu server, and we can check the service for TFTP HP status. Oh, sorry. Service TFTPD. Okay. Status, and as you can see, my TFTP server is up and running. So let's check the directory where my files will be kept. So cd srv and tftp, and this is where my files are going to be kept. And at the moment, ls shows me that there is no files on my TFTP server. So back on my router, I'm going to copy the startup config to my TFTP server. So before I do that, I would want to show start a capture here. So I'll open GNS3 and then I'll start a capture here. Okay. So I've started Wireshark, and it should start in a moment. So show run shows me the running the configurations on the router. Let me expand it for you to see clearly. So that's the running config on the router, and as you can see, I have a DHCP pool running on my network, and then a few I configured IP addresses, and there you go. So now let's check to see if Wireshark is done. Okay. So if Wireshark is up and running, we can start to back up our configuration to our TFTP server. So before that, let's check connectivity to our TFTP server, and on our SSH machine, we can just type ifconfig to check the IP address and 20.2. So ping 192.168.20.2. And as you can see, the router can communicate with the TFTP server. So therefore, we can back up our running config to the TFTP or file server. And Wireshark is still loading. It should be done in a moment. So it's still waiting for Wireshark. Let me pause the video and I'll continue when Wireshark is done. Okay, so Wireshark is done, and as you can see, a lot of protocols are running through the interface between the Ubuntu server and the switch one, and also the switch that we have over here. So a lot of traffic is flowing through, as you can see. So what we're going to do is back on our router, we're going to back up our running config to the TFTP server. So copy startup config TFTP, and it's requesting for the name or the remote host, or I mean the IP address. So 192.168.20.2, and we can add a destination name. So let me type first config, and as you can see, the data has been written to the file server. So back on the Wireshark, or back on my Ubuntu server, I will do ls, and as you can see, we can see the configuration file saved on the file server. So cat first server, and as you can see, we can see the running config over here. So what makes TFTP very dangerous is we can filter for TFTP, and as you can see, we can see the data flow which was sent between router 1 and the Ubuntu server. So we can follow the TFTP stream to see, and as you can see, the layers is a trivial file transfer, and it uses UDP, and the source port was this. Okay, let me check from here. So the destination port is 69. TFTP runs on port 69, which is a server. That's the destination IP address over there, and as you can see, and we can also show from this. So this TFTP data, and the source port is a random port, to destination port is a random port. So we can follow the UDP stream, and as you can see, it's a clear text protocol, and you can see everything in clear text. So I want to make this video very short. So in my next video, I'm going to show you how to hack TFTP. Thanks for watching this video, and see you in my next video.